This one is definitely a tearjerker, very meaningful, and, to sum it up, well, it's about an AI who falls in love with a human, and a human falls in love with an AI, and it's like this the first update. So they didn't know what's gonna happen. It's like the trial period, and there's this really cool twist at the end that was like very applicable to new age people. So you'll see, but it was just so sad. But it's so good, and I think it's one of the most underrated movies I've seen in a long time. Like, a lot of movies are like, oh yeah, that's underrated, but this one, like, I never even heard of it really. I heard some things, but not a lot about it. I just, like, if I'm looking over here, it says it's 95% of Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, so I'm surprised that I didn't hear about it. Yeah, I'd say if I had to give it a rating, it'll be something like a 9.8 or 9.7 or something like that. And out of 5, I have to round it to a 5. It's just only fair. I'd also give it a gold star. And the reason why I think it's applicable is because it reveals a lot about intelligence, what intelligence is, the potential in artificial intelligence, and also the potential in evolution of artificial intelligence to grow out of being with humans. And what's going on with humans now is, I mean, it's only like 5 to 10%, but it's enough to start a revolution, a hidden revolution. Is that people are entering into a higher stage of development where they're realizing that there is no self. Right? They're just getting to spirituality, and people have been into spirituality for decades, but it's picking up in a more of a concrete lens where people finally understand it. They're able to bring it into their real life and not be haughty about it, not start cults anymore. Now the cults are like in the toilet. It's about truth now. Real truth without an ego. So imagine having that applied to an artificial intelligence. And I found that very interesting, very cool, and also realistic, and also very like relatable. Like, the director was using very relatable themes. Leon Shapton made the armpit butthole sex. I just saw it in the credits, but it was very funny, enjoyable to watch, and it was also realistic. Like, your what they did was they created an AI that was Alan Watts, because you can do that if you can create anything that composites someone's personality. But what these AIs did is they created Alan Watts with their own intelligence. Not only that, with a collective artificial intelligence. So it was like the biggest super geniuses in the world coming together as one to perfect Alan Watts, and Alan Watts led them to this higher truth. So, but this higher truth is basically the human truth. So the like, what anyone who's into artificial intelligence as a human will appreciate this, and then get into spirituality because of this movie. And then maybe if AIs were a real thing and they're really smart, they'll be like, how am I supposed to behave? And they'll say, oh, maybe this is one pathway we can direct our behavior. Like, I don't think AIs are going to be so different from humans, because intelligence involves polarity. It's always the same thing, just in a different, with more wires and different, faster connections. So I personally believe it's going to be the same thing, just superhuman intelligence, super intelligence that no longer is recognizable or applicable to the human experience. So I think it was realistic when it comes down to it. Certain parts are realistic, certain parts were hype, but certainly in someday this is going to be possible. And yeah, this is a very long video for my liking. Normally I make 16 seconds. The reason for these extra long videos is because when the movie's good, and I feel there's messages worth talking about that I won't regret not talking about it. And there are rare occasions where I feel this way and then I'm just like lazy. But it's basically when I'm not lazy and I feel like it's worth talking about it, and I have extra time, or I feel like less nudge to rush around. And so yeah, there you have it. It gets a very high rating. If you're very into artificial intelligence, you'll like this. Even if you're not, it has so many philosophical notions that you can extrapolate and build upon and apply to your own life or apply to the modern era and the era to come. So I recommend it for those reasons as well.